Administration, the GSA, allows federal money to be appointed, as you know, Pat, for a transition from Trump to Biden. Well, the GSA is not doing any of that. They're not giving any money over yet to the Biden folks to have some sort of transition process. So there is a financial limbo, not to mention electoral limbo here until results are certified. So we are in this strange period of let's just wait, even though if you look at the media and you see fireworks going off in the sky, you'd never think it.
You know, folks, I thank you, David. I want to talk about Georgia a little bit because it's key. There are two races down there that are going to go into reruns, and there's a lady named Stacey Abrams who was running for governor, and she didn't win, but she came very close. And instead of going back to her home, she decided she was going to organize voters. And so in Georgia, there are probably another 1 million registered voters because of her activity. Now, there are two races down there. Sonny Perdue, who was the former agricultural secretary, he didn't win a clear majority, so he's in a runoff. And the other lady, Loeffler, I believe, she's in a runoff. If those two lose in Georgia, where the numbers are huge in terms of new registration, at least another 1 million votes. And you can imagine if they spent a 400 million trying to defeat Lindsey Graham and the majority leader of the Senate, if they spent that kind of money, they'll spend $1 billion to hold the Senate. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be chaos in Georgia. And if those two flip, then you've got the steamrollers in place then to run through all the appointments that the Democrats want and all their strange concepts. And boy, it's going to be a mess. But you know, you talk about the green, sure there's global warming, absolutely. But are we the offender? The answer is absolutely not. The Chinese and the Indians are the ones who are polluting the atmosphere. And we're not doing it, but they're not part of the Paris Accord. But people went after Trump because he doesn't believe in, quote, global warming. Well, sure, there's global warming. But if you want to fix the global warming, what you ought to do is plant a bunch of trees out in the Sahel that would change the climate because of what you did. But they don't want to do that. The Green New Deal is a socialist opportunity to limit American industry and to put it under the control of the federal government. We don't want that. Whew.
A lot going on.
Ooh, wow. Well, another news. The Democrats lose seats in the House. Republican women made historic gains. And what does that mean for the pro-life movement? John Jessup has more.
That is right, Pat. So far, Republicans have flipped 8 seats in the House. One reason is the record number of GOP women elected. As Mark Martin reports, those victories are being called a stunning blow to the pro-abortion agenda.
In January, at least 14 new Republican pro-life women will take the oath in the House of Representatives. That number will include 7 Congresswomen who defeated Democrats in last week's election.
We attribute their success to the fact that life is winning in America, and regardless of the uncertainty in the presidential election, it's clear to see that life is not a losing issue this year, especially because we see an unprecedented number of pro-life women being elected to Congress.
Those newly elected representatives join 11 incumbent GOP pro-life women who won re-election. In a statement, SBA list President Marjorie Dannenfelser said, "These gains are a repudiation of abortion extremism and further evidence that life is a winning issue in politics."
And this is a diverse group of women who will no doubt stand up for the unborn. They come from various backgrounds. We have Maria Salazar, who was one of our endorsed candidates. She's a Cuban-American woman who understands the right to life. We have Yvette Harrell in New Mexico, who was newly elected. She is the first woman from the Cherokee Nation to be elected to Congress for the Republican Party.
And it's not just happening in the House. At least 6 will be part of the Senate in January, including re-elected incumbent Joni Ernst of Iowa.
I'm going to share my favorite psalm with you and let it be a reminder of how we can get through this difficult time. And my favorite psalm is Psalm 121, and it goes like this. I lift up my eyes to the hills, and where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth.
The founder and chairman of the nonprofit Christian ministry Liberty Counsel spoke out about the election, saying these pro-life women will bring new energy to Washington to preserve precious preborn children. This is another important step to making the womb a safe place again in America. Mark Martin, CBN News.
Thanks, Mark. To health news, early analysis reveals a coronavirus vaccine developed by Pfizer is more than 90% effective at protecting people from the virus. An independent data monitoring committee evaluated the data Sunday. So far, there have been 94 cases of COVID-19 in the 44,000-person trial. Less than 9 of them received the vaccine. The rest were given a placebo. The results have not been peer-reviewed, and some scientists warn against rushing to conclusions based on early results before long-term safety and efficacy have been established. And Pat, stock futures soared on the promising news of the vaccine.
Well, it really is, and I don't know if you watched 60 Minutes last night, but they had a statement of a 4-star general who's heading the effort, and it's all set up. They'll deliver that vaccine instantly across America, and the analysis is so sophisticated, it's just mind-boggling that this vaccine, when it comes, I mean, it's going to be brought to the American people quickly, and the sooner we can put the stop to this terrible coronavirus, let's hope this stuff works, but apparently it does. Wendy?
Apparently it's making the stock market very happy.
Yeah.
We're getting it.
Well, the stock market is happy because there's a split government. As long as the government's in gridlock and they're not passing taxes and stuff like that, the market is delighted. And furthermore, the Fed is just pumping money in like crazy. So you don't ever fight the Fed. The Fed is going to give you money, and the market is going up, and so it's time to enjoy it.
All right. Well, still ahead. From riots to revival, he's the force of nature who's led worship rallies across the country's hot spots. Sean